Well, hey there, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and we're going to be talking about Episode 3 of Season 1. I'm sure there'll be more seasons than just this one, of Krypton, the sci-fi series. This is called the Rankless Initiative, Episode 3. So, basically, the comparisons are really hard to not spot. That this is so much like the Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel. I liked that movie, I really did. The ending, I didn't like the idea that Superman killed Zod, especially not that way, just whatever. But that aside, I really did like that movie a lot. So I'm glad that they're taking from the good elements there, you know? What do you call it? The place of Jor-El is taken by Van-El, that's Seg's father. Seg himself is taking seg-el is taking the position of Kal-El, Superman. So this is really good. You know, like you actually get to see a version of Superman-ish without his powers and still being heroic, still doing everything he can. Love it. What basically happened here is Brainiac's little device that landed, it winds up getting picked up, this little parasite. And I actually thought they were going to go Doomsday on this one. I'm like, oh no, please, please, please. I don't like that they went and made Doomsday into just a parasite, because Doomsday is so much more than that in the history of the comics. It's actually 3:08 a.m. Red Black Cane. And so why are you up? But anyway, I'm glad you're joining me, brother. So anyway, it's just interesting to me that they didn't go that route. I'm happy because they keep on the TV shows. Yeah, a little bit. The TV shows seem to be following the New 52, but especially the Warner Brothers DC Universe, the DCEU, DC Extended Universe, seems to be following the New 52. Just, they won't stop, and it's just so sickening. I need them to stop. It was successful monetarily in the beginning at the very least, but fans hated it. So they just need to stop doing that. So I'm glad they're not necessarily doing that here. So they went with a regular version of Brainiac. We got to see Brainiac again. It was the exact same scene from before, just he actually spoke this time. So you could tell that they just filmed, you know, it's like, okay, listen, you're going to say this, count to 10, say this, count to 10, say this, count to 10, and then we're just going to film you all the way through, and we're going to break that up and do bits, and I'm totally cool with it, man. I'm totally cool with it, because Brainiac looks awesome here. Got to see the numbers running up his eyes. It looked like the reverse Matrix, except even more evil. Hello, Mr. Seg-el. It's kind of scary. So we get to see this parasitic version of Brainiac, and it was pretty awesome. I'm digging it. I do have my very first complaint for the series coming up. So basically, he has to go and try and rescue her. This was Rom. She went off. She got this extra glorious job, as she put it, and she's going out scavenging. It's like, man, the things that a parent won't do to help out their kid, to try and give their kids a better future. You know what I'm saying? And that's the kind of things that the people in that upper echelon, those ivory towers of Krypton, have always counted on. Sounds familiar. A lot of things sounded familiar here. So, once again, they're ordered to the what do they call the Sagittarius? They're ordered the police. They're ordered to go down and clear out these rankless, these houseless, because the head of Krypton, the mouth of Ra, whatever, the head of Ra, he's saying, hey, listen, man, somebody went and tried to attack me from Black Zero. We need to handle this, so you need to go and do this, otherwise I'm going to have to kill you. And he's saying that to, what's his name, for crying out loud, can't remember his name, who cares, Knucklehead, you know, saying who's drinking himself to death, and his daughter seems to be a lot smarter than he is. So he's just like, he goes to the military police, like, you need to go down there, you need to clear them out, and just bust some heads. And it's like, so Lyta Zod is trying to explain, listen, I specifically killed a man. I killed my commanding officer so that I could take his place, so that I could get a voice. You're going to have to kill a whole lot more people. Do you think that your mother has a voice? You're eventually going to have to kill her. Like, seriously, man, I want you to think about that. So it's a shame. And her mom is really starting to get under my nerves. Really starting to get on my last nerve, but I'm letting it slide. The thing that I can't let slide, and this is the first real complaint that I got with the show, is I am not happy with the way that Lyta Zod was played in this episode. I dug that she went and said, anybody who disobeys me, anybody who goes and puts a beating on somebody, anybody who does any of this stuff, you will answer to me. Oh, I loved that. Then when that one knucklehead goes in, like she starts some trouble, she's used to her old training, and I'm telling you, it takes a while to get rid of bad training. You know what I'm saying? A bad thought. If somebody goes and tells you information, like if I were to say the sun is green, you know what I'm saying? This is something you can easily discern. But if I were to say something like the sun is green and you believe me as a veritable source, it would be very hard for someone else to prove to you otherwise. And even with that proof, you'd still have it in your head. And maybe you'd even forget where the source is because it's a trusted source. It's my friend. It's somebody who I believe. So getting rid of your training is a very hard thing to do. It's not going to happen, an hour before you go out on a maneuver, an actual live fire maneuver. So I get that. I'm totally cool. So far, I'm good. Then when this knucklehead goes and actually shoots somebody also, when Lyta Zod comes up and she's saying, okay, so here's this guy in bonds that you shot dead. He didn't get a trial. I'm arresting you. And you're going to face a trial, and that's more than they got. You know what I'm saying? And that's a big thing on social issues today that I can stand behind. You know what I'm saying? Just the difference between military training and police training. We are trained for years before we go out. And yeah, I don't see any police academies anymore. That's all I'm saying. So that's a really interesting social commentary on that particular scene. So I loved it. You got to see that the people there loved it. Like, finally, some justice. Wow. I want you to really think about that. A cop got arrested for doing something bad on Krypton. Imagine that. Look, if you're if you're a McDonald's worker, for crying out loud, and your drawer is short, you know what I'm saying, you get fired for that. But killing somebody, you can't. So the idea that they now have Lyta Zod in this position of power is very cool. So, and I think that her doing that is the only thing that's going to save her and maybe save this aspect of the show for me, because I'm done with Lyta Zod after that. After that, like, everything she did there, it's like she should have just left the show entirely or something. Just give me those good feelings, because then what happens later? Here's this girl, this woman, Lyta Zod, who, again, killed her commanding officer in order to have a voice, in order to do good things with the Force, to bring actual peace, not just order through peace, not order through strength, defying what the future House of Zod would eventually be, right? Kneel before Zod. Nah, you chill out, man. Take a back seat. We're trying to do good things here. So, all of these crazy things happening, and she's trying to do something good. So what happens? This very strong woman goes and allows this guy who she's sleeping with, seg-el, granted, the protagonist of the story, alright? What are you doing? You're not supposed to be here. And he's yelling at her in front of the commanding officers. He's yelling at her in front of her troops. And she's, okay, come over here. Listen, you can't talk to me like that. Or actually, she doesn't even say that. No, let me explain myself to you because you're the man. What is this? No, let me explain this to you because you're the hero of the story. What story? This is supposed to be like an actual thing here. Look, that's the least of things. Then later on, hi, I'm going to need one of your EMP grenades. What? You're asking me for military-grade equipment, and I'm just supposed to hand this over to you? I need an answer, because otherwise I need to... I'm out here trying to arrest terrorists, and you're asking me for military-grade weapons. And he's like, do you trust me? Oh, jeez. Oh, my God. Shoot me in the head right now. You got your gun in your hand, Lyta. You got your gun in your hand. Just shoot me right now. Please don't hand him that... You handed him a grenade. What part of that made any kind of sense whatsoever? Oh, no. I'm not finished, because neither is she. So she's standing outside with her troops. Just arrested one of her own. Didn't arrest anybody. She was told to go down there and arrest people. And look, I'm happy with her not arresting those people, because none of them were guilty. She couldn't find any proof, okay? Innocent until proven guilty. So she didn't just blindly, recklessly listen to orders. Love her for that. But then here's her boy toy, who just said, Do you trust me? No, I don't trust you, fool. You're down here asking for this. You just yelled at me out there. You're acting like a freaking lunatic. You don't tell me anything. You come up there and you start yelling at me over here. You distrust every single thing that I do. He didn't trust her. You killed someone for this position. I had to so that I could save people. Oh, yeah, okay, cool. You didn't trust her. So, do you trust me? Yes. Here's a military-grade weapon. A grenade. Come on, brother. That's not going to happen. That just, yet somehow in the show. So then, she stands outside with her troops. Her mother is telling her, listen, you need to bring your troops in there. I don't see any movement. You need to bring we were told you need to go in there. I need you to move your troops in there. We can't do it. We're assessing the situation. That's not your job. I need you to get in there and do this right now. And she's all like, no, I'm sorry. I can't do that. You're disobeying a direct order. Do you guys know what 6 years? Army. Infantry. Okay? Do you know what the punishment is for AWOL in the field or AWOL, absent without leave? We got acronyms for everything. AWOL, which is just considered desertion. At that point, when you're in the field and you're not where you're supposed to be, you're potentially deserting. That's a court-martial. That's treasonous. Also, disobeying a direct order from your superior. That's treasonous. Do you know what that's punishable by? Look, maybe they don't have the same penal system. Penal system. That was wrong. They don't have the same penal system there. They don't have the same laws and trusts and all that in their government. But at the end of the day, this is a serious, like this Sagittarius movement, this military movement they got, the military police that they got there. I can't think that treason would be punished with anything less than killing the person. So she refuses to answer, and then when she goes back, like she goes and she sees Seg down there right now. What is this? An actual alien? We're not alone on Earth? Is this Roswell Krypton? Where are we right now? Oh my God, what is going on right here? And it's just, okay, I can't really tell you too much. You're just going to have to trust me again. You better stop with that trust thing. Trust only goes so far. In fact, it goes about the end of my rifle. Answer me now. You're coming with me, or I'm shooting you. Like, this is just so phony. Like, what is going on here? A little bit too much. That was just a little bit too much. It's a step too far. So now what's going to happen? She goes back, and they're pointing out, oh man, what's going on here? You know that the main dude's not going to get killed, all right, by the head of Rao, the voice of Rao. Voice of Rao, that's what it was. He's not going to kill his dude. He's one of the only people you could trust. Okay, you're not doing what I need you to do, but he's a smart guy. He knows I'm not going to just trust some jabroni to come out of nowhere. No, you. Eventually, I'm sure that he'll be killed, and it will be his daughter, but I don't think it's going to be this soon. I don't think it's going to be episode 4. So what's going to happen now? They're all going to go back and be like, dude, what's going on? Your daughter disobeyed a direct order. So one of two things is going to happen. Maybe two of two things are going to happen. Her mom, with her constant, I'm trying to do everything I can to help you. Why are you doing such and such and such? Just even that, the twist of the head. To me, that's breaking ranks. That's a failure to maintain your military bearing. You know what I'm saying? You don't do that. But okay, fine. I said it's just a TV show. I'm trying to pull myself out of that. Nonetheless, she'd be like, I had to pull all my rank and all my favors and even owe a couple favors to bad people just so that you didn't get hanged for what you did for treason. So I could see something like that happening. Hey, what's up, Joe? Hey, Joe. Where you going with that gun in your hand? Sorry, that's Jimi Hendrix. So, it says, the other thing that they could possibly do is say, oh, yeah, the people down there, they decide to turn over some information because you actually arrested a bad cop. That I could potentially see happening also. That I could potentially see happening. But they've really got to do something because like that whole scene where she didn't listen to her superiors. She instead listened to Seg, like the most reckless person going. She listened to Seg, whose life is in shit. And I just can't. I'm just saying, the big S must have a big D, because I don't know anybody else who could get that kind of... I can't get my wife to trust me like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, hey babe, yeah, you work down there at such and such military surplus. Do you think you could get me a hand grenade? Do you think I could actually convince my wife? I'm pretty influential. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, I don't think I could convince my wife to like get me a hand grenade. That's my wife, man. That's just my side chick. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? I don't have a side chick, just for the record, in case my wife watches this review. Otherwise, no. So, like, yeah, this is just, that was just not believable. All of that, it just, to me, that ruined Lyta Zod for me. I'm like, dude, not cool. Everything else about this, though, was great. And I'm glad that they didn't do the whole Doomsday virus thing. All right, Doomsday's coming. Doomsday's coming. That's the last character that I technically have to do for this series. If you guys scroll down, you'll notice that I've already done, what is his name? Adam Strange, explained in a minute. In just a couple of days, that thing's got more than 1,000 views. It's like 1,200 some odd views. Very cool. Thank you, everybody who checked that out, man. Seriously. You know, if you want to share it in your comic book geeky thing, I'm just saying, that would be cool too. But thank you for watching. I appreciate that. I've also got up Brainiac explained in a minute. If you guys don't know who Brainiac was, plus I had a lot of fun doing Brainiac. I may have done a little voiceover cute stuff there. Besides that, there's also Hawkwoman, Hawkgirl, explained in a minute. And the reason why I did that is because, what do you call it? They're saying that Hawkwoman, more likely, is going to show up. And you'll know the difference between Hawkgirl and Hawkwoman by listening to that 3 minute or so explained in a minute. I'm explaining 3 different Hawk people. Actually, a lot more than that. But Hawkman and Hawkgirl are complicated in the DC universe. But that being what it is, and then this coming Saturday, so what, this is Thursday, that's actually technically Friday now. Yeah, within about 24 hours, I should have up Doomsday explained in a minute. And that will also be right around the what the heck is it called? The Spotlight on Story that I'll be doing. I'm going to be doing a Spotlight on Story where I will explain the death of Superman. So, all that good stuff coming up on Saturday. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for watching all the good stuff. I see your comment, Joe. Yes, I did hear about Woody Harrelson, but we'll talk about more. We'll talk about that in the podcast that I do on Saturday. Saturday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So like New York, Toronto time. 8 o'clock on Saturday. That's when I'll talk about whatever. But this is just, I got to try and keep this for the Krypton episode. Would have made more sense to use Booster Gold than Adam Strange? Yes, it would have. Thanks for your understanding, Joe. Love you, man. Mark Guerrero, yes, it would have made more sense to use Booster Gold because that's what Booster Gold does. He actually travels through time. The Zeta Beam doesn't take, what's his name, Adam Strange all over the place wherever he wants to go. No, it doesn't. It only takes him to Rann and to Earth. You know what I'm saying? That's all it ever does. When the Zeta Beam wears off, go and check out Adam Strange explained in a minute. But Booster Gold would have made more sense. Plus, it would have been nice to see Skeets flying around. You know what I'm saying? Just Dan Jurgens' creation. Love me some Booster Gold. You can't not love Booster Gold. But he would have taken a lot of effort. He would have taken something else. So I can understand why they would choose to use him instead. Plus, I think that since they're going to be involving Hawkwoman in this, I think that's where they got the Rann-Thanagar war thing going. So maybe like it's going to be a, there's only 10 episodes in this, so 7 more episodes to go. But I think they're going to try and incorporate the Rann-Thanagar war that will really take precedence in season 2. That's what I would do personally. But yeah, that's my take on it. Anyway, it is late. I'm going to go and try and get a little bit of sleep right now. Probably won't work. And got a whole bunch of good stuff coming out tomorrow. So, love, peace, and hair grease. Guys, thank you so much for showing up. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.